Prior to joining Front Office Sports, Ben Horney spent 12 years at Law 360, and he oversaw sports betting, mergers, acquisitions, capital markets, private equity. He's been covering this latest story with the NBA. And really, it's bigger than that, than just the NBA. It's the FBI, with over 30 people arrested involved in gambling schemes that had to do with poker, also apparently sports betting as well. Ben, kind enough to join us. Give me the tone of that press conference, Ben.
Yeah, Dan, thank you so much for having me. It was, how do I describe the tone? First of all, there was no internet, which was not great for us reporters. It was pretty intense, very serious. There were more than 20 officials, including Kash Patel, director of the FBI. Very serious. They said this is the tip of the iceberg. Both of these investigations are still ongoing.
Okay. Let's start with the Chauncey Billups allegations and Terry Rozier and Damon Jones. What were they alleged to have been involved in?
So there was two things. One was this alleged, by the way, they're all alleged still. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. They made sure to, make that clear. There was one operation called Operation Royal Flush that involved the poker scheme. And basically, they would dupe everyday people into playing these games with high-profile people like Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. But everyone else besides the victim was in on the scam, allegedly. So they were using technology to read cards. They said something about X-ray technology, where cards would be face down, but they could still see what cards they were. And they were duping people out of thousands. Ultimately, it was millions of dollars, Kash Patel said. So that was that. It was when Chauncey Billups was a former player, Damon Jones, former player. They're both coaches. Very not cool.
What's the time frame on this? Because Chauncey Billups coached last night, but when is he alleged to have been involved in this gambling ring?
So it's relatively recently, and by that I just mean within a few years ago. He was a former player. Now he's been retired for a while. I would need to go read the indictment, which I have right here, hundreds of pages, to find out exactly the year. But I think that it was alleged before he was a coach. This has been going on for years, they said.
But why is it surfacing now?
So they've been investigating for a handful of years, collecting evidence, trying to figure out, how they could nail them. And they obviously have enough evidence now that they felt they could charge these people. They arrested Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier this morning, along with others. The other interesting factor here is that they said that the Italian mob this is like a Hollywood movie. They made a mention of that, but it is real life.
Has the NBA responded?
I have not been in touch with the NBA. I did ask at the press conference whether the NBA cooperated with the investigation, and they said yes, the NBA cooperated. What do you think is next? Well, like I said, it's the tip of the iceberg. So, now Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, they're going to be arraigned in court sorry for the winds, by the way, in Oregon and Florida today. We don't know exactly when. And they're charged. There's going to be trials. Moving forward, I think the FBI and the law enforcement agencies, they're still asking people, hey, if you know anything about this, we're open ears. They're still investigating. So the implication is that further players, coaches, etc., could still come out. But are we talking about fixing games, betting on games? So that's the other. There were two investigations, right? There was the poker one. The other one, which is what Rozier's involved in. Players like Rozier and he's the only player. And Jonte Porter is the other one that was part of this. They were giving inside information about. They were going to claim that they were injured. They were going to say they're going to play poorly. They were telling other people involved in the scam so that people on the outside would bet on, Terry Rozier is going to score less than 10 points. And then Rozier would exit the game in the second quarter saying that he's getting a leg cramp. That's what it was. And this was being reported for a while, but now the charges are really out there. That's what was happening. Ben, thank you. I know you got a busy day. Thank you for taking some time for us. Thanks so much, Dan. That's Ben Horney from Front Office Sports, covering finance, private equity, ownership, and gambling. So you got the crime families in New York. You got poker games, X-ray tables.
You got people wearing contact lenses or glasses that can read a marked card. Then you have prop bets maybe with gambling. And that's what Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter was involved in. But did Chauncey Billups lure people to poker games knowing that those people were going to be cheated? And I think that's what it sounds like he's been arrested with. And you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here. That added up to now, I think, around $7 million. Whew. That's wild.